Hey there, welcome to the Agents of Revival podcast. If you're ready to be healed and take full accountability of your life by evolving into your best self, then this is the podcast for you. I am your host, Andrea Griffin Rogers, and I'll share with you winning steps as well as personal tips and anecdotes on how to go from brokenness to wholeness and from scattered pieces to inner peace. So come on in and join me on this healing journey, and let's become whole together. Enjoy it! Hey, what's up, guys? How are you today? I pray all is well. This message stirs your faith, falls on good ground, produces good fruit in your lives. Today, we are talking about partner deportation. Yep, partner deportation. And I don't know why I'm feeling a little giddy about this message. But for a few days or so now, since Valentine's Day, I've been kind of teaching on the part as it pertains to vision, because if you're new to the podcast, welcome, first of all. And then secondly, I'm teaching in a series called Vision for this particular season of the podcast. And I spoke on this before. I'll say it again quickly. You know, with this series, we're going to be touching on a lot of different topics as it pertains to vision, but it's going to help you get clarity on your vision, understand your vision, learn how to operate in your vision, establish the right team needed to see your vision through, as well as show you how to execute, show up, and grow your vision properly, effectively, and efficiently. And part of that is about having the right team. And so today's message, as the last few messages have been, it's been about the right team. You got to have the right team around you for your vision to be successful. Excuse me. And that doesn't just mean business team. Though everything I'm going to say today and in the last few episodes can pertain to business team, but I'm also talking about personal relationships and interpersonal relationships. This means your family, your friends, your situationship, or whoever you're dating or courting at the time. Possibly even apply some of this to your marriages for those that are out there that are married. Now, don't take anything I say as a sign that if you are talking about problems in your marriage, then okay, let me go divorce. No. When I'm talking about breaking apart, like partner deportation, I'm normally focusing on people who are single, or there are other relationships that you need to break apart from in your life in order to see your vision manifest, and also in order for the right people to come in that will be able to help your vision manifest. Okay, so let's get into it. Partner deportation. There's a scripture in the Bible that I love. There's several of them, but one of them that I was reading the other day, just getting refreshed on, talked about, can two people walk together without agreeing on the direction? And I thought this was so key for today's message about partner deportation, because a lot of times we don't apply these principles to our lives. And if you're not a Christian out there, then you probably have never read the scripture before. And even if you are, or identify yourself as a follower of Jesus Christ, but you don't read your Bible, so you probably have never heard the scripture before. So I'll read it again. Amos chapter 3, verse 3 says, can two people walk together without agreeing on the direction? And what I love about this text is, again, it's not talking just about your marriage or your situationship. It's talking about every relationship in your life. How can you be friends with somebody and y'all not agreeing on the direction of your friendship? You don't have the same morals and values and principles. You don't, not saying that they have to be a twin of you. I'm not saying that, but there has to be some level of agreement. If you are constantly arguing and bickering, y'all can't even decide on a restaurant to go to, let alone just how you want your friendship to be, what you want to receive out of the friendship, as well as what you're willing to give to put into the friendship. If y'all don't agree on the basis of friendship, you don't have a good friendship. And may I suggest for your consideration that it's time to depart from that friendship because you've gone as far as you can go. And it may be a friendship, and apply this to relationships and business as well, where you was never supposed to be with that person to begin with. I've been talking about this for a while now, since Valentine's Day here in America. I've had several incidences with this. I've had some friends where we were friends for a long time, and then we suddenly stop agreeing on the direction. And part of the disagreement of the direction typically comes when one person chooses to evolve and learn some new things and become better and grow in some areas, and somebody doesn't want to. And so then you realize we're not walking the same way together. We're not agreeing on this direction anymore. I'll give you an example. Actually, I'll give you two examples as it pertains to friendship. So I remember I had a friend who we were believers in Jesus. We would worship together. We would, serve God together, as well as we would, let's be honest, because that's, again, it's my past. We would party together as well. We would have some parties together. We had some good times together. Definitely some good times. But there came a point in our friendship where I decided to evolve. I decided to get serious about my faith. I decided to get serious about following the teachings and the ways of Jesus Christ and the calling that he had on my life. And when I became serious about that, though during the beginning portions of the time, that particular friend was supportive of it, they also weren't willing to level up, basically. Like, there came several conversations where it was like, okay, well, I want to do this, but they want to go party. And it's like, no, I don't live that life anymore. Like, I'm serious about this direction that God is leading me on, and it's away from the clubs. It's away from the parties. It's away from the dance hall, whatever. And they were like, okay, but this is what I want to do. And it first started small with me seeing that we are not going in the same direction anymore. And what I mean by small is, like, I remember one particular weekend where they went out dancing, clubbing that Saturday night. And then knowing that, then they already knew, because I already told them, hey, I want you to go to this particular church service with me to support somebody. And so they were like, okay, cool, bet, I'm down to go. It's like, great. So you knew in advance what was coming on Sunday, but you decided Saturday night it was just a dance party that you just could not miss. And so they went to the party. They wound up staying out way later than they thought they were going to stay out. Also wound up drinking, even though they didn't think they were going to drink. And so then comes time early in the morning, Sunday morning, to come to the church service with me to support somebody that we knew. And they were dog tired. I literally had to keep them awake in the service because they kept falling asleep. They even smelled a little bit like liquor. And I'm not judging. Like, I was, this my friend. So, okay, bet. Well, we here. The Lord can clean you up and that'll be fine. But in the midst of the service, because their heart wasn't just really in the service because of where they just came from, then they kept wanting to talk to me about other stuff and wanting to gossip and just wanting to do things that was going against the worship that I'm trying to have in this moment. And so I had to realize, okay, this is not working. So that was like strike one, if you will, of like, I don't know if we should do this again, because I'm trying to be focused on worship and you want to sit here and make me laugh or want to talk about somebody or want to talk about the time you had last night. What you did last night was last night, but right now it's focusing on Jesus, and you don't want to focus on Jesus. So I realized in that moment it was a problem, but in the friendship, because let's just be honest, let's call a spade a spade. When it comes to, if people that's like, what does it mean by let's call a spade a spade? It's something that I always say. It's basically like, if you see a cloud, you know it's a cloud. We're gonna call the cloud a cloud. We're not gonna call the cloud dirt. It's a cloud. You know very clearly, anybody that's ever, I don't care what language you speak, natively in your country, you know, you look up in the sky, it's a cloud, it's a cloud. You may title it a different word depending on your language, but it's still a cloud. You know it's not grass, you know it's not dirt, you know it's not a tree, you know it's not a bush, you know that it's not a car. I don't care if the cloud looks like it's a shape of a car, you still know it's a cloud in the sky. And so that's what I mean by a spade, like a deck of cards. If you see a spade on the card, you know it's a spade. If you see a club on the card, you know it's a club. If you see a heart on the card, playing cards, you know it's a heart, and so forth and so on. So that's what I mean for people that's like, a spade, a spade. I keep hearing them say that. What does that mean? That's what that means. It's something I normally say privately, but I'm just, flowing right now. So, but let's call a spade a spade. Like, sometimes change doesn't come so easily. Sometimes it can be downright hard to change. And even when it comes to the people in your life that you know, without a shadow of a doubt, you know, you feel it in your stomach, you feel it in your head. I mean, you know, people have even said it to you, possibly. Like, this relationship is not for you. This friendship is not for you. This partnership in business is not for you. You shouldn't go that way. But a lot of times it takes us falling flat on our faces too many times before we realize, okay, you know what? I just realized you ain't gonna catch me. I keep trying this trust exercise to fall and hoping you gonna catch me. And yet every single time you like the girl Lucy on the Peanuts with Charlie Brown, every time I run to that football, you keep moving football and I keep falling. And so sometimes it takes a couple times for you to realize, you know what? I'm not going to keep running no more. I'm not going to keep fighting no more. I'm not going to keep trying to have this relationship no more. It is time for partner deportation. Here is your bus pass. Here is your plane ticket. It is time for you to exit on stage left. There's your gate. God bless you on the way out. But it is time for you to depart. And I got to go my separate way to my own gate, to my own destination, to my own journey ahead. And so when, you know, right after that happened, you would think that I would say, okay, you know what? This friendship needs to end. But I didn't. And then there were other little things. Like, there were times where I would be teaching a sermon, for example, and let's say right afterwards in fellowship, this person would make a comment that would be fleshly, in a sense, that would go totally against the word of God. And it was just like, it made everybody uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable, but because you're my friend and just the type of person that I am, I'm like, okay, I don't want to embarrass you, though you're embarrassing me right now. So I'm going to smile and, okay, just deal with you later on that. But it was like you sucked the energy out the room by that crude comment, by that fleshly comment. And I don't mean criticism. I don't mean like they were like, oh, I think you could have did this better. No, I'm talking about like fleshly comments, like similar to if you, most of you are probably adults, and so you bring, you know, somebody around your parents or something, and they want to pull out baby pictures of you naked in the bathtub. It's like, come on. No, this is not the time to be doing that, okay? Don't bring out those pictures. You can show any other picture. Don't show those pictures. And so it'll be moments like that where this particular person would say things that just was not appropriate for this moment of worship and fellowship. And here you go commenting. And so that was like, again, strike two. Like, okay, that's bothering me that you keep saying stuff like that. And then the third time came when I was like, again, in the midst of giving a sermon and in a small group, and they would comment something that was inappropriate, and then they did some things that was like, I guess the best way to put it would be class clown. You know, if you don't know what that means, normally in a classroom when a teacher's trying to teach, there will be some one student or several students that would try to be funny in the class and would try to disrupt the class. And so that's what the person was doing to me. And it's interesting because you're supposed to be my friend. And yet I'm sitting here doing the assignment God gave me. I'm working, I'm teaching, And instead of you supporting me and just listening, you're trying to do everything that draws attention away from me and puts it onto you. And so it's just like, wow. And so finally, after prayer and fasting, because that's just something that I believe in doing to seek God's clarity on the vision that He has for my life and the direction that I'm going, as well as the people that I have in my life. I talked before, I think it was yesterday, when I mentioned about, I would do evaluations with certain people to know when is it time to separate. And usually that came from my prayer time of like, okay, God, is it time to evaluate the people in my life? And so that kind of came up again, where it was like, all right, God, you know what? I'm praying, I'm fasting. I need to know, is it time for this partner, this friendship of mine to depart? Because I'm constantly seeing we are not agreeing on the direction anymore. I'm trying to go this way and they still want to keep partying. Everything is still just fun and games to them. And that's just not my life anymore. Not to say that we can't still have fun, but there's a time and place for everything. And long story short, I know too late, but God said to me, it's time for this friendship to end. It's time to dead this friendship. And He even gave me a vision about it. And I was just like, wow, okay. All right, God. And then there were other friendships where God was showing me that it was their time to leave. And some of them, just like you may experience in your life, it just kind of faded away. Like I talked before about when I stopped texting and calling, suddenly it was crickets. Yeah. So that just happened. And I had to realize that it was me kept resuscitating these friendships. Like if you ever see a movie where somebody codes and the doctors go crazy, call red, get the EMT, I think it's called. No, I think it's called something else. But they'll say, go get the machine, and they, rev it up and they say clear and they pump your heart to resuscitate you. That was me. I'm going to be honest. Call a spade a spade. There would be friendships that would just be departing from my life. And I just kept trying to revive them. I kept trying to resuscitate them. And didn't realize until I finally stopped texting and calling that they were very happily, easily drifting away. And so I finally said, you know what? Okay. I'm going to stop fighting it. I said before about relationships. I had to realize that whatever relationship I was in, it was time to go. It was time to part ways. And that's okay. But you have to be willing to look at the fruit. I heard somebody say this, and this will help a lot of my singles out there, because I know it blessed me. I heard somebody say, how you know if you can really marry somebody or really just spend the rest of your life with somebody is if who they are today in your life, if who they are today, when you look at it, if you can deal with that for the rest of your life, meaning that if they never change, will you be okay with it? Can you really see yourself staying in that friendship, in that relationship, working with that business partner if they never change? I know that person may be your favorite cousin, but if they never change, can you really still keep hanging out with them all the time? Can you really still keep telling them every single thing about your life? Now, there may be some of you out there that will respond to this and be like, yes, absolutely, I could be with them and that not be a problem. But for me and some other people out there, we got to be honest with ourselves. And I had to be honest with myself. That particular friendship, I had to realize this continuing the way it is going is not working for me. And it's not going to work for me if it continues this way. Because again, I'm walking in one direction and you're not agreeing on the direction I'm going on. While you're saying with your mouth you support, but your actions are showing otherwise. I remember even with that particular friendship, like I had a birthday party And while I made it very clear I did not want alcohol at my birthday party, and I invited a lot of faith-based people, I'll say, that believe in my faith with Jesus Christ. And I invited them, and we were all hanging out having a good time. Well, there were other people at my party who were family members who were non-believers of Jesus Christ. So they had no problem with bringing alcohol, even though I did not want alcohol there. And so this particular friend very happily went into the other room to drink with those family members who were drinking. Now that hurt me because you're my friend. And even though I don't have control over you, to respect my wishes for my party, even though this family member wasn't respecting it, but we know how family is, I would expect that my friend would honor me in this moment, even if you are a drinker, to say, you know what, today is about you. And since you made it clear you didn't want that at your party, then I'm not going to do that. I know that person snuck some alcohol in here. We can't control that person, but I'm not going to go and take a sip of the alcohol they're easily, giving me. And so again, I had to realize, there are too many signs that are showing me that we are not agreeing on direction right now. Because I'm walking one way and you want to walk a different way. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that we have come to the end of our road. And like a crossroads, I got to go right and you got to go left. And I wish you all the best. And you can say that to people who depart from your life. You don't got to be mean or nasty. Hear ye, hear me. We got to get out that mindset where whoever leaves our life, we got to treat them badly. We got to cuss them out. We got to talk about them like a dirty dog and smear their name out in the streets. You don't got to do that. I don't care if they hurt you. Don't do that. How you be better is by showing them better. Because in your actions, to show that what they did not affect you, to cause you to change who you are, to match their level of intensity or negativity, in you choosing the positive role, or the way Michelle Obama said, going higher when they go lower, you throw burning coals of fire on them. Not physically, but there's something that will burn inside of them to say, wow, they must think they better than me because they didn't treat me like I treated them. Yeah, I am better than you. Thank you for recognizing that. And you don't gotta say that. I'm saying it for you. I am better than you because I didn't stoop as low as you did. I didn't do you how you did me. I chose to take the high route and trust that you're going to get yours, because whatever is sown will be reaped. And so if you sown discord, if you sown negativity, if you sown nastiness, if you sown a seed of backstabbing or betrayal or abuse, if you sowed a seed of just any type of discord, that's going to come back to you, not me. So I'm going to choose to go high and be my best self and depart from you amicably. Whether you receive it or not, my heart will be at peace. You got to be at peace for yourself. Again, it is nobody else's job to guard your heart but yours. It is nobody else's job to be your happiness is yours. It is nobody else's job to give you peace. It's yours to receive it and keep it. Because people will be people, and the enemy will use anybody he wants to try to snatch that peace from you. So it is your job to fight tooth and nail, and you fight through prayer to keep your peace. So you may need to make a decision right now to evaluate the people in your life to see, is it time for a partner deportation? Is it time for us to part ways? I know we've been on this journey for a while. I know we've been friends for a long time. We've been friends 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I know you was once my favorite cousin. I know you was once my ride or die booty call. Long-term boyfriend, long-term girlfriend. But it may be time to evaluate if it's time to part ways. I heard, I was watching this play by Tyler Perry. This is an old school play at the beginning of his career, which I love this play. I loved all his plays back then. This one was called Medea's Family Reunion. And there was this woman in the play who gets married, and she comes back to the house of Medea's family, and she's like, hey, I'm about to get married. And for those that's like, oh, I seen the movie and the play are very different, so go watch the play if you've seen the movie. But she's like, oh, hey, I'm getting married. And so her family asks about her ex. Like, well, what about him? Because he was such a nice, good guy. He treated you good. He was decent to you. And she's like, well, yeah, but he ain't had the money, though. And it was like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah, but this guy, though, this guy got all the money. And he bought me this watch. Y'all see this shining bracelet? And he bought me these diamond earrings. You see this? Yes. And he bought me a brand new Mercedes car. And she was, baby, she was so proud of herself that she had those gifts. And she was like, yes. And they were like, oh, okay. So he bought you some things. Well, what does he do for you? And she's like, didn't I just tell y'all, like, he bought me this, he bought me that. And it's like, right, but what does he do for you? And even the ex-boyfriend, when he found out she was getting married, asked the same thing. Like, what does he do for you, though? And all she could talk about was the money. What he did for her financially. Now, if you watch the play, later on the play, when she chose to ask him, what do I do for you? The fiance got pissed off and punched her in her face and said, woman, don't you ever ask me no questions. Now go in that house and make me something to eat. And she went right in the house and made him something to eat. And it was just interesting because, again, she thought the question that everybody was asking her of what did he do for you was about the finances and about the gifts that she can show. What did he do for your heart? In this season, it is important, hear ye, hear me, whether it's a relationship like I just explained, a business partnership, or friendship, or even a family ship. Who you have in your life, you must agree on the direction. You must agree on how you're going to treat each other, how you're going to value and respect each other, how you're going to love one another. Because if they're not loving you as they love themselves, or if they love themselves in an unhealthy way, and therefore they're loving you the same way, that's still not the right relationship for you. That's still not the right business partner for you. That's still not the right friendship for you to be in. That's still not the right family member for you to hang around with. Doesn't mean that you have to completely cut that family member off because, again, they're family. But it just means that I have to love you from a distance. So I'll come around for certain family gatherings and whatnot, but maybe this hanging out all the time that we used to do, we can't do that no more because we are not agreeing on the direction right now. I want to be loved and treated one way, and you don't want to value me enough to love and treat me that way because you don't value yourself enough to love and treat yourself the proper way. And so until you get healthy enough to fix yourself, to heal the areas that you that are broken that you keep running away from, then we can no longer walk together because we do not agree on the direction. You would not be here under the sound of my voice if you were not willing to agree on your own healing, wellness, and well-being. You want to live a balanced life. I know, because that's what this ministry is all about. That's what this business, this vision of Agents of Revival podcast is all about. Healing, wellness, and living a balanced life. And so you're not drawn to this by accident. There is no coincidence that somebody sent you the text and said, or the link and said, hey, listen to this. You're here because God is saying to you, wake up. This is your divine awakening. Your divine calling, your conscience, if you will, that you know that you feel speaking to you to say it's time to make some changes in your life. That there's better in store for you, but you got to be willing to depart from certain situations. And so take this as your wake-up call. Be willing to do the work. It's going to be hard. I'm not going to say it was easy. And you're going to have some times where you may fall, make a mistake. You may pick up that call one more time. You may hang out with that person one more time. Heck, sadly, you may even sleep with that person one more time. I've been there, baby. Trust me. I get it. But the biggest thing I would leave you with is you got to focus on your why. Why does it matter that you cut ways with this person? Your why should be because you realize that you are not being treated the way you want to be treated. And it's time for you to become healed, set better standards, create healthier boundaries and habits so that you stop attracting what you no longer want in your life. Your why is going to anchor you as you move forward. I know, because I've been there. I've been there. So figure out your why. It has to be deeper than, as the example Tyler Perry's play, than the flashy things in life. What does this person really do for you? That's your why. Does this person add value or they take away value? Do you leave this person feeling better? Or do you leave this person feeling drained? Feeling worse than you did before you got with them? Does this person add to your insecurities? Or do you feel settled and secure? Your why will anchor you as you move forward to make the decision to part ways with those who are no longer serving purpose in your life. All right, we got to go, y'all. May Lord bless you and keep you, cause his face to shine upon you. May Lord our God be gracious to you, show you his favor, and give you shalom, give you his peace. Take care. Love you guys. Bye now.